welcome back to Profits Unlimited's podcast channel. And today we got a very special guest with us, Mr. David Bowling, David's Lawn Service. And David came in, he actually brought me some homegrown tomatoes. He had no idea we were going to make this video, but he really did. They're right here, and he was being kind and brought me a couple of these homegrown tomatoes in. And I said, David, while you're here, why don't we go ahead and do a little video and talk about your company a little bit? And he was a little bit reluctant at first, but I finally convinced him that it wasn't going to be the worst thing in the world. But so David, hey, I appreciate you doing this for us.
Absolutely.
And I promise we won't keep you going all day, but just a couple questions if you would share with me and everybody out here, because I think they'll find some similarities in a lot of their business as well as yours. But how'd you get into the business?
Really, my dad started in, I think it was 1998, and he did just enough to, a little bit more than enough to, support us, and it was something that I've always wanted to do. Since I was little, growing up, he put us through private schools and grade school and Trinity High School, so he did enough to, make it work for us, and I've always liked being outside. I used to go help him when I was little. He gave me a little push broom, and I would go,
Gave you the hard part.
Yeah, I'd broom off people's front porches and stuff, and just to help him. And he liked to always ride around and have somebody to talk to. And I was in the summer, and so I would go with him and talk to the people, or whatever he wanted me to do. And I always really liked it. And as we got more into the landscaping and stuff, I was really like, I'd like to do this, and kind of got out of high school and was totally over doing tests and stuff like that, and I just didn't want to do the college route, and I told him I would work for him, and we picked up a lot of new services and stuff that he originally didn't do, and just kind of took off from there to where it is today.
Awesome. What size company do you guys have?
Right now, it's about a 2-truck operation. We got, my dad and my little brother do all the mowing, and I do a lot of the spraying or the landscaping, and just kind of the extra work, and try to keep up with the billing and everything.
Well, it's nice to hear that you're doing a little landscaping and fertilization and weed control, because I know a lot of times companies that I work with, they spend a whole lot of their time strictly mowing grass, and I'm sure one of the reasons you started doing the fertilization and weed control and landscaping was because you saw there was an avenue for some better profit dollars, right?
Absolutely. It's so much easier to make the more money doing it because the cost is so low, and it's just another service that you can provide to customers that you already have, and it limits versus doing it before. If it was just a mowing or a landscape, we can usually get a fertilization signed up over there, and that's just another source of income through the same
right. That's
customer.
One of the same things that I saw back when we had first started our company, is I had all these customers I was mowing for, and I always joke about it now and say we were giving the good stuff away. We would do all the mowing our brains out, and I was calling somebody that I knew did fertilization and weed control, and I knew somebody did landscaping, and I was giving all those customers away basically. And then one day light finally clicked on for us as well that said, hey, you're giving the most profitable part of your business away, and that helped us refocus, similar to the way you've refocused a little bit. So what are your goals as you move forward?
Really, I want to develop as far as mainly my dad. He's getting a little older, but he still he can outwork most anybody that I know. And he, but to kind of get him where he can go back a little bit on the work that he does, and really both of us just kind of build our company up to where we have more trucks out there doing stuff, and I'd really like to kind of focus on the billing aspect of it, getting things like that settled out, and
I can understand that. I know billing, that was one of the last things I had time for.
Yeah. That's how it is with us. It's 7:30 at night or 5:30 in the morning. We're sitting there sending out bills or making sure everything's good, making sure everybody's getting an invoice. I never realized that, people used to say that I have trouble making sure everybody gets a bill, and I was like,
didn't understand
what do you
that.
mean? When you do the work, you get paid, but it's it's hard trying to keep all the clients to where everybody gets a bill and making sure that everybody gets the right bill and everything's taken care of accordingly.
I always say, that's true. I went through those same trials and tribulations, excuse me, with my own company. And I always say we focus too hard on, and we're great at the work side of it, but a lot of times we're weak at the business side of it. We don't see the advantage of setting that time aside to take care of the business side of our business.
I talk to my dad about that all the time, that we can do the work and it looks great when we do the work. We know how to do all that work. It's just the business side is what I think a lot of people too, that's what lacks with companies is the business side. The work aspect of it is, it's fairly simple to learn and do it and execute it good if you've got the act for it. But the business side is a little more tricky, and I think that's where a lot of guys struggle. I know that's where we struggle a little bit, is through the business side.
Yeah, that's certainly, we had the same issue. We were in business probably 9 years ourselves, and just doing a whole lot of work and thinking, man, we need another job. But the biggest issue we ran into with our lawn and landscaping business was the fact we didn't know why we were charging what we were charging. Did you run into any of that? Or
we had that. I always told my dad, it was about a year ago maybe, I told him, I said, I know that when I go look at a yard, that yard's $45 to cut it. It's it's this much to cut it, whatever. But I don't know why it's that. I can look at it and say, that's a decent sized yard, it's going to be this much, but I never knew why it was 45 or why it was 50 or why it was 60. And one thing that really helped us is your all stuff that we just figuring out the cost. Looking at that stuff, I was like, wow, this is totally something that we need to do, and it has really helped us a lot, especially with the mowing and not leaving money on the table. It's been a really good thing, a really good tool for us to have.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, and this certainly wasn't intended to turn into a commercial for us.
No,
absolutely. I appreciate you saying that, David, because it's an overplayed word where people say we're here to help. Kind of sounds like the IRS, right? Hey, we're here to help. But the reality of it is, the trials and tribulations that most of the contractors that we work with across the country and talk to in our seminars and whatnot, I hear the same message over and over and over again, that, oh man, I'm weak on the business side of my business. And you get on these forums and everybody's asking, well, what should I charge for this and what should I charge for that? And it sounds like you guys have finally worked that out for your company.
Yeah. And
moving in the right direction.
Yeah, we're definitely moving that way. And it was amazing when we sat down and actually looked at it, how much, and it was like you said in one of your videos, before I even wanted to before I was pursuing the profit stuff, was how much money you're leaving on the table, but there's some that are higher than what they need to be. And when I sat down to do the profit stuff, it was, some were higher than they needed to be, some were lower.
Right.
When I looked at it, I was thinking, wow, we're going to have to adjust everybody's prices, and that's not the case. A lot of them are, pretty good, but there's quite a few still enough to make a difference that are too low. And,
right.
And when you balance those out by knowing, and it helps me feel better when I go to somebody's yard and I say that this is how much it's going to be to, cut your grass, and she says, well, I'm too expensive. I can comfortably walk away and say, if I take that yard for more, I'm losing money on it. Versus before, I would say, well, who was doing it before? I'll do it for that if I can.
Right. And the Walmart mentality, yeah. I call it. We'll meet or beat anybody's price, but unfortunately, most of us don't know where the break-even point is, so we can meet or beat that price, and thus that's why the failure rates are so high for our business. So, hey, I appreciate you taking a few minutes today, David. Thanks for your time.
Absolutely.
And hope you guys picked up a little something that, the reality of it is, we're all out there making tall grass short or fertilizing lawns or doing landscaping, but take a closer look at the business side of your business and help yourself that way. Set aside some time to look at your business and see how you can do things more efficiently, more effectively, and ultimately more profitably. Because the one thing for sure, profit is not a dirty word. Thanks, David.
Absolutely.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave us a comment below and we will get back to you soon. If you aren't already, please subscribe to our channel. Also, go like our Facebook page where you can interact with us and the whole Profits Unlimited community. Check out our great website with all of our 100% money-back guaranteed products at profitsorus.com. And remember, stay tuned for the latest and greatest content from us at Profits Unlimited.